Hello, this is Alana McGuan.
Renee Bryant.
And Jessica Swanson.
And in this webinar, we will be introducing Domain 7 of the Teacher Leadership Standards, which is advocating for student learning and the profession.
Educational policy has become a topic of increasing interest over the last several years. With every president since Clinton calling for education reform, the need to keep up with new and greater availability of technology, and now with the implementation of the Common Core standards and changes in teacher evaluation methods, being aware of past, existing, and trending educational policy mandates is more important than ever. Many universities, among them Harvard, Dartmouth, UC Berkeley, CSU, and UCLA, have begun offering degrees and certification programs designed to give practicing teachers the background they need to participate fully in the development of and advocacy for future educational policy. With our current education system in a near constant state of flux for the last several years, it becomes more important than ever for teachers to keep themselves informed of the changes going on not only at their sites and in their districts, but state and countrywide as well. To that end, it is important to seek out resources that provide a wide variety of data and interpretation on what is driving current policy changes and how those changes may affect everyone involved in the education system, from the students to the superintendents. It is also our duty as teacher leaders to make sure we share this information with our colleagues and help to prepare our school sites for the changes that are to come as much as we can. There are a variety of organizations, such as Educator Advocates and the Center on Educational Policy, shown here, as well as the Educational Policy Institute, which produced Waiting for Superman, and the Institute for Educational Leadership, which offers an educational policy fellowship program.
One of the key duties of the teacher leader is to guide our colleagues in the discovery and effective use of the incredible wealth of data that has become available in recent years. With so much to sift through, it can easily become completely overwhelming and frustrating. Like our students, teachers can become discouraged when presented with a task that seems impossible. Repeated failures of ineffectively managed reforms can cause us to become skeptical of the possibility of success in future reforms, and many educators have therefore adopted a wait-and-see attitude regarding any new idea presented to them. Being able to provide evidence of successes in other venues can boost the flagging confidence of teachers who feel like they have tried it all without success. IRRE, the Institute for Research and Reform in Education, has several programs that are available for download directly from the website, along with the research data, development, rationales, and direction for implementation.
Californians Together is a statewide coalition of parents, teachers, education advocates, and civil rights groups committed to securing equal access to quality education for all children. Founded in 1998 after the passage of Proposition 227, Californians Together joined with other organizations to foster full participation in a democratic society through quality education for children and parents from underserved communities. This website contains an advocacy network, links to member organizations, policy action alerts, reports, events, and more. At the leadership level of Domain 7, the teacher leader leads colleagues within and or beyond the district in seeking information regarding how local, state, and national trends and policies can impact classroom practices and expectations for student learning. At the leadership level, the teacher leader leads colleagues to identify and use research to advocate for teaching and learning processes that meet the needs of all students. The entire mission of Californians Together is to advocate for equal access to quality education for all children. This mission aligns itself with Domain 7 and teacher leadership. Teaching Tolerance is a project of the Southern Poverty Law Center. It is a website and a magazine, free may I add, that offers professional development, classroom resources, film kits, and publications. Did I mention that it was all free for teachers, librarians, counselors, anyone that works at a school? It is a place for educators to find thought-provoking news, conversations, and support for those who care about diversity, equal opportunity, and respect for differences in schools. Teaching Tolerance connects to Domain 7 by increasing capacity to investigate policy trends, increasing capacity to investigate and use research for advocacy, and advocating for the profession outside the classroom. An example of an amazing issue of Teaching Tolerance is the spring 2013 number 43 issue that address how teachers can recognize and dismantle policies and practices that favor incarceration over education, reminding teachers that based on third grade reading scores, it can be a school-to-prison pipeline. We cannot allow any more of our nation's youth to be wasted on prison. Culture-responsive teaching must exist in all classrooms, connecting traditionally disenfranchised students to our lessons in schools. Teaching Tolerance magazine and websites help us do that.
The book Awakening the Sleeping Giant provides a formula for success that will help teachers build a solid foundation for their leadership journey. The book also helps guide the teacher to an outcome-based approach with regard to quantitative and qualitative data, research, and other evidence that will help the teacher discover their best options to do what's best for kids and to engage in time-worthy postmortems to determine project effectiveness.
In the last several years, it seems like parent involvement in education has reached an all-time low, especially at the secondary level. As teacher leaders, it is our task to find ways to reach out to parents and the rest of our communities in a way that engenders genuine, meaningful interaction. After all, we are not just educating children, but future members of our communities, and as the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. First Things First, a free student advocacy program, provides step-by-step instructions on how to interact effectively with parents and how to help both parents and communities accept that the challenges students face are not merely the responsibility of the teachers.
California Association for Bilingual Education, CABE, is an organization whose vision is for biliteracy and educational equity for all. CABE's forward vision recognizes our responsibility to prepare and support our students with 21st century skills so they may dream, imagine, experiment, and reach their highest potential as they become multilingual communicators, multiculturally proficient collaborators, critical thinkers, civically oriented, technologically and information literate, academically prepared and empowered with their own voice, creative, interested, connected locally and globally. The organization is not just for educators, it is for education. CABE publishes a companion conference magazine, The Multilingual Educator. Its connection to Domain 7 increases capacity to investigate policy trends, increasing capacity to investigate and use research for advocacy, and advocating for the profession outside of the classroom. CABE works diligently to meet its vision. CABE partners with Californians Together to advocate for the rights of English learners and their families. CABE hosts local and state annual conferences providing 4 days of advocacy, workshops, school visits, film festivals, administrative symposiums, and more. CABE gives away yearly scholarships and awards. Together with Californians Together, CABE is able to help its members investigate policy trends. It's because of the work of CABE and Californians Together that California now offers its students the bilingual seal of literacy. We have a statewide common definition of what a long-term English learner is. Right now, both groups are working together to protect the state of EIA funds for English learners with their letter writing campaign to Governor Brown regarding his new funding formula. Phi Delta Kappa is an education magazine journal website that publishes the most current research around themed topics. It is published by PDK International and is focused on service, research, and leadership. Its connection to Domain 7 is through increasing capacity to investigate and use research for advocacy. At the leadership level, the teacher leads colleagues to identify and use research to advocate for teaching and learning processes that meet the needs of all students. Phi Delta Kappa provides the most current research for teaching and learning processes that meets the needs of all students. Examples of themed issues are poverty and learning, health, fitness and learning, managing talent in education, dropping out, teacher evaluation, evaluating teacher evaluation, philanthropies in education, public education, a nation divided, results of the 44th annual PDK Gallup poll of the public's attitudes toward public schools, religion in schools, and more. Very amazing research journal for you to check out.
Partnerships of all kinds are essential in the current education climate. One of the key components of a successful team where teachers are legitimate leaders is a solid partnership with site administration. Schools where teachers lead what successful leaders do addresses precisely that issue. The movement towards shared leadership in education requires new kinds of professional relationships and a new professional structure. The book discusses the challenges and rewards of creating the opportunity for and following through on shared leadership responsibilities.
In order to be effective advocates, teacher leaders must learn how the system for policy creation and change works. Many teachers feel very far removed from the place where change is created and instituted, and would not know where to start even if they had an idea to propose. Knowing where to start and what resources are available to them as advocates are important elements for enacting change. This chart from California Educator magazine shows the steps of the process that one educator followed to see her idea become a new law, and provides a blueprint for others to follow toward the same end.
Many teachers become skeptical when the newest, latest, greatest movement in education trickles to the classroom. Teaching 2030, What We Must Do for Students and Our Schools describes in detail how teachers can move from the end of the information chain to the beginning. The book outlines what teachers need to do in order to be the guiding force and the primary change agents in authentic, meaningful education reform, all while maintaining solid connections to the classroom, students, communities, and other teaching professionals. This marriage of teachers as leaders combined with the close classroom connections is the primary purpose of the, quote, teacherpreneur, end quote.
As you can see, Domain 7, advocating for student learning and the profession, is extremely important to the role of the teacher leader. Teacher leaders are the experts of the field. Through many of the organizations and resources mentioned in this screencast, you too can advocate for student learning and the profession and take your teacher leadership to the next level.